What's up guys, today I'm going to be showing you guys, what's up guys, Jack is here, and today guys I'm going to be showing you guys how to play Microsoft Flight Simulator Extreme Edition. Now this game, just looking at it, it may look really old, and it kind of is really old. It came out in like 2005 I believe, but it gets really realistic. The graphics are incredible. So this is just going to be a tutorial on how to like fly the plane, how to take off, how to do all that kind of stuff, and like how to select your aircraft, select your route, all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to be going over too much of this, but we are going to start out in the settings. So I play with everything maxed out: traffic ultra high, weather ultra high, scenery all da. So to get the to make it look really hang on, let me see, where is it? Trying to find where. Is it realism? No, it's not in here. Okay, but so we're just gonna go over how to like do all the different stuff. Is it in here? I don't think it is. Okay, so okay. Oh, this is it. Yeah, this is it. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to select what your screen resolution is. So mine is 1080p, so I do 1920 by 1080, so I'm just gonna click that. Target frame rate, you should just put that on unlimited. If your computer can't really handle that, and just put it on like 60 or whatever it can handle. So you're gonna want advanced animations on and lens flare on, but like this stuff you can just like mess around with. You just want advanced animations on. Global settings ultra high, all that. So if we click OK, then okay, expect something to happen. But now if you want to select like your aircraft and like select your route, you're gonna want to come to free flight, and you're gonna also need a joystick. The joystick I have is a Logitech Attack 3. Yeah, really old school. So I have a lot of aircraft downloaded. It's just one of them. It's a Southwest plane, but if we come to current aircraft, we're gonna go over all this stuff too. So just click change. It may take a minute to load depending on how many aircrafts you have installed. So yeah, and I know you can see my OBS in the back. So any day now. Any day now. Any day now. Hello. Yeah, I have a ton of aircraft installed, so this does take a little bit of time to load. So how's your day been, guys? Okay, it usually doesn't take this long to load. It takes like 10 seconds to load. Okay, here we go. So these are all the different aircrafts I have loaded. Like I have I have a bunch of 747s, bunch of 737s. I have Air Force One, because why not? I have the Dreamlifter, Air France Cargo, an Emirates plane, Etihad. You can choose anything you want. Now, if you're playing this game literally for the very first time, then this will be unselected. You don't get a very big selection of aircrafts. So, make sure you click on show all variations. So here we go. We have a lot more aircraft to choose from. So I'm going to choose I'm just going to show you guys how to take off, cruise, and do all that stuff. So let's do a Boeing 747 Cargo Lux. And here it is. So this is the 747-8. So current location, we're going to do that when we get our flight planner in, but we're actually going to just do that right now. So you're going to want to make sure you click IFR if you're doing like a big flight. If you're just going to fly like a Cessna and just want to explore a city, then just do VFR. But we're going to start out, you can choose a lot. I'm pretty sure you can choose almost every airport in the world. So we're just going to start out in Luxembourg, because that's where Cargo Lux I'm pretty sure originates. So Luxembourg, here we go. And obviously just the city of Luxembourg, so we're just gonna click Luxembourg. Choose destination. I'm not gonna do a full flight in this video, obviously, so I'm just gonna give you guys like a little how-to. So I'm just gonna do Malaysia, and I'm going to do Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so now we have our routing. So you can do low altitude airways. You obviously fly like probably like 10,000 feet high. High altitude airways, which is what I use, you could fly like 30 or 40,000 feet high. And I don't really know what that is, but so now we're gonna click Find Route. Hit Load, and this is gonna be our route. So you can see Luxembourg is right here, and we can come down a little bit. Yeah, this is pretty laggy. So, and this is our route. I'm obviously not going to do this flight, that would take hours, but here's our cruising altitude, 35,000 feet. Now you can change it to anything you want, but I would not recommend going above like 35,000 feet because your plane will act a little bit weird once you get up there. But so now if we click Navlog, as you can see, we have all this stuff here. So I actually did, if you click print, then it's actually going to print like a checklist. So I did print one for a flight I did. This is it. It was from Kuala Lumpur to Aichian. So it will give you all of this. So you click OK, then OK again. And you can see I have a lot of flights. So we're going to click Save. Click on yes. Okay, here we go. So next what you're going to want to do is you're going to select your weather. So we have a lot of weather. So clear skies is just no clouds, there's nothing. So probably the hardest one to play in is stormy weather. Like, it's like the description just gives you like a general idea of what it is. So you can do real world weather. Like right now it's super hot and sunny outside, so we do probably just clear skies. Real world weather. Say that 10 times really fast. Real world weather. Updated every 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes it's gonna statistically update to what your weather is outside in your time zone. But we're just gonna do clear skies for the purpose of the video. So time and season. You can do the current date, like right now as I'm recording, it is Saturday the 13th of June. So we have winter, spring, summer, and fall. Now, I would just recommend doing like spring or summer. Probably the best things to do, honestly. Now, if you're doing a really long flight, I would recommend like a 10-15 hour flight. I would recommend doing just starting in daytime, so when you land in your airport, it will most likely be daytime. If you're gonna do like a 5-hour flight, you probably want to do dawn, so you you end your flight, it's in daytime. But if you're just gonna do like a 5-hour flight, you could probably just do dusk. And if you want to land at midnight, then you land at midnight. And at night, if you're doing like a 3-hour flight, then the sun will start to rise. So you can do whatever you want there. I'm just gonna do daytime. So we're gonna click OK, and this is it. So I do have unlimited fuel selected because it gets really depressing when you run out of fuel, but this is all the fuel, the max amount of fuel that you can put in the 747-8. So failures, you can actually like select failures on your engine, like on your plane. So like you can do complete engine failures, or like you can do like engine fires. I'm not going to do any of this right now though. I'll probably explain that in a different video, but I think we're ready to go. So I'm going to click Fly Now. And I'm also just going to start on an active runway. I'll probably do like how to do like a pushback and like get your gate, tug, stuff like that in a different video. So we're just going to click OK and fly now. So this also may take a second to load as well. So let's look at the checklist. Just pretend we're in a real pilot. Just pretend we're in a real plane. We're looking at our fuel checklist and like our IFR and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, we're good to go. So, I hope you guys are gonna enjoy this little mini series I'm doing, just of me teaching you guys how to play FSX Steam Edition. I believe on Steam it's like $40 or something like that, $50, pretty expensive. So, okay, so something didn't. Okay, this is embarrassing. If this does happen to you guys, which happened to me, where it starts you at nighttime, then just make sure you just press Alt on your keyboard, which is it's what I have. You're probably gonna want to change a bunch of your bindings. Then you want to go to Options and Options, Time and Weather, I believe, and then you just switch to daytime. And this is definitely this is definitely not what I. Yeah, this is 100% not what I selected. Yeah, this stuff happens. It's annoying. When I hate when I don't even know how that happened. But okay, here we go. Oh, it's because okay, yeah. Current location. You're gonna want to make sure you change that. I forgot to change it. You obviously want to just select where you want to start. So Luxembourg, right here. Okay, now this is gonna work. Sorry about that. And the reason why it was in nighttime is because when it's you know, never mind. It'll take a long time to explain. No one wants to know that either, because it's boring. So, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was way too quick. I have to figure out how to edit my videos, so I don't want to make you guys sit through all this. Okay, here we go. This is what we're looking for, so okay, so here's our aircraft. Now what I like to do is I like to right click on the screen, go outside, and then I like to do locked spot, so then I can get this nice view right here. So if you right okay, that's it. So we can look at the different air traffic as well. So this is an Airbus A319. Oh, it's an A318, okay. So we have an A320 as well, another Air France, and this is probably another Air France. Oh, it's Lufthansa. It's an old version, but okay. So this is the cockpit of a 747-8, and you can get a 2D cockpit, which I don't really like. If you right-click cockpit, go to regular cockpit, you get this cockpit. I prefer the virtual cockpit. It just looks a lot better. So now if we click escape, you go to view flight analysis. You can see we are here in Luxembourg. So if we click OK now, just go back, continue flying. This plane is really loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do before we take off is you want to tune the Luxembourg Tower. This is something you do when you taxi, but the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put your flaps down to 10 when you're taking off. You want to do flaps 10. So, and you notice how our ATs, our air traffic control, is saying climb and maintain 11,000. You want to go to your altitude hold selector, this gauge right here, and you want to go to 11,000. Your air traffic controller might give you something different depending on what your cruising altitude is, but mine is 11,000. So we're just gonna do this. Okay. So So the button on this joystick to put the flaps down is this button right here. So I'm going to click this a few times to get to flaps 10. So look right here. This is our flaps. We're going to go 1, flaps 1, flaps 5, flaps 10. And if you don't have a joystick, then you can move this. I actually prefer doing this other than that. The engines are in the way, so we're good. So, request takeoff clearance. Here we go. Our flaps are now down for takeoff, and we're clear for takeoff. So you also probably want to get your speed hold selector to like something probably like 350 miles per hour. That's usually what a 747-8 does at cruising speed. Okay, so here we go. So for takeoff, it's super hard to take off without a joystick. That's why I'd recommend using a joystick. But here we go. So our parking brakes are currently on. To get rid of those, I don't actually know what it is in the cockpit. Okay, these are our parking brakes. So our parking brakes are on. We're just going to click that, turn them off. There we go. Let me get into a straight position. There we go. So, for me to take off, is this little throttle right here. We're going to put that almost to max. You don't want to go completely max so you don't get an overspeed. But here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. We're taking off. So, I forgot to say this. The reason why we have to put the flaps down a little bit before takeoff is so the aircraft can take off at a slower speed. That's why they use them for landing as well, so you can land at a slower speed. But, here we go. Taking off. So, unfortunately, in FSX Sim Edition, it doesn't say like V1 or rotate. You just have to take off when you think you should. So, when you get to about 120, 130 is when you can take off. So, here we go. So, let's just zoom out a little bit more. And here we go. So, once you take off, only a few seconds before getting off of the ground, once you get about to here, I would say, that's, okay. Once you get about to here, you're going to want to put your landing gear up. So how do you do that? Well, for me, it's this button right here. But again, if you don't have a joystick, you want to bring this lever up. You can see it, the landing gear is now going up. And try and do a bit better than me. Stay centered with the runway. I didn't really do that. But now, depending on what your route is, look at your GPS right here. This is the direction where you have to be going. So we're going to turn that way. So you want to make sure you keep up with your air traffic controllers. If you don't respond to a message in a certain amount of time, I think it's like 1 minute, then you're going to lose your air traffic control. So you do not want that. Make sure you pay attention. So you want to click 1 to accept. And if you somehow didn't get what they said, well, you probably most certainly did. It's right here. Just click 2. But every now and then you're going to have to contact some more air traffic controllers. So here we go. There's the airport, and our landing gear is completely up. We don't want to put our flaps up yet. We'll put them up soon. So we'll continue. So once you're about lined up with your GPS line, the purple line, the one that isn't dotted, then just stop turning. So as you can see, our air traffic control right here has given us instructions. So it says turn left heading 030, proceed on course, climb and maintain at 11,000. So we're gonna click the autopilot master switch, right here. And now we're going to do altitude hold switch. And you're going to want to climb a certain amount of feet per minute. So I'm going to do probably like 2,500 feet. You know what? We'll do 2,600 feet. So we're going to put our auto throttle on. If I can. There we go. So then we put our speed on. Now the plane right now is completely under autopilot. But we just have to put our speed in. So or our heading. So the heading is the direction the plane is going. So if let's say we want to go heading 30, which we pretty much already are. We'll engage that. So the plane is gonna go 30 degrees. If you know, I think, just imagine like a circle, 360. You're gonna go to the. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. So right now, the whole plane is under autopilot. So once you get to about 10,000 feet is when you can put your flaps up. So here we go. So once we do get to 10,000 feet, you're going to want to put your flaps up. So yeah, 350, I memorized the plane. So that's just enough to get you just below overspeed. So you can go, you can climb a bit quicker if you want. I'm just doing the reasonable speeds. So as you saw there, our plane was not really, the nose was barely going up. It's because our flaps are down. But you can see the plane is struggling to gain more speed. That's something really important. The more speed you climb per minute, the slower your plane will go. And you do not want the plane to stall, or it's just going to crash into the ground. So now, as you can see right here, because of how flight plans work, you can see we're going to have to take a hard right soon. So this is our flight analysis, how quickly we climbed, and like I said, I'm not going to do the whole flight on video. That would take hours and hours. But so when I feel like I should turn, I just turn. I do not always listen to air traffic control. But if you're just starting out playing the game, you probably should. So cruising is probably the easiest thing to do in the game. So since we're losing our speed, I'm gonna drop this down a tiny bit. There we go. So you want to make sure you're climbing slow enough to where your plane can actually gain speed. So we're not at 10,000 feet just yet, but I think we're gonna put our flaps up now. So let's just contact. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna put our flaps up. There we go. And I also forgot to put all the lights on that I need. I'm not really familiar with the lights. I'll probably look into that and do a tutorial on the lights. So as you can see now, we are going over speed. I don't actually know how, but so we have to slow down a little bit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our altitude per minute, or climb per minute, whatever it's called, up a lot, like up a lot. So we're gonna slow down really easily. And yeah, that's pretty much what happens when you go over speed for too long. You can turn crashes off, but I don't really do that. So cruising, it's really self-explanatory. It's super easy to do as well. So I'm not even gonna bother. I'm recording that, but we're gonna go on to how to land your plane. So I did a flight from Luxembourg to Dubai, so I'm gonna just do that. So just wait for this to load. We're not gonna do the flight, obviously. Just wait. I know a lot of this is kind of boring, but it's just like being a pilot. So we're just gonna end the flight, and now we're gonna go to one of my routes where you can, well, where we're going to land. So okay, here we go. So you can save your flights as well by pressing Alt, Flights, and then Save, and you can name it whatever you want. So we're gonna click Load, and I have a lot, like a lot of saves. So yeah, I think we're actually gonna do this one because it is a 747. It's just a 747-400, not -8. But here we go. So this is one of the best approaches I have done. So I just did a flight from London to Madrid. Let's see if this is gonna load. Now I pretty much have done all my landing checklists, but I will talk about how and when you should do your stuff, like your flaps and your stuff, and all that stuff like that. So since I have all my traffic loaded in, it does take a long time to load in. And locked spot, here we go. So the airport is right there. So we're gonna go over, when do I put my flaps down? Or when do I put my landing gear down? When do I disengage my autopilot? So you're gonna want to put your flaps down to 1 when you're about 10. Well, this is this right here. So you're gonna want to put your flaps down to 1 when you're going 280 miles per hour. So, and you're probably going to be descending while you're doing that. So when you start to descend, you're going to want to put your speed down little by little. So then flaps 5, 260 miles per hour, flaps 10, 240, 20, flaps 20, 230. I think that's what it says. Flaps 25, 205, and then flaps 30, 180. So as you can see, we are already on approach to Madrid. So that's a very unrealistic call sign, but it's fine. So my approach speed is 160 knots. That's a little bit slow, but whatever. So your air traffic control will tell you when to like start descending and stuff. Where is it? I'm trying to find. Where is it? There's a giant one. It gives, you know, like it tells you when to turn and all that, and like descend. Like one heavy descend, maintain 10,000. So it does tell you when to descend and when to climb. So let's continue. And I forgot. You also want to put your landing gear down, probably about somewhere around here. You may think you're gonna want to put it down like 10 minutes beforehand. You really only want to put it down probably like 5 minutes beforehand. I put mine down a little late, but it's fine. So here we go. So we're gonna have to make one final turn to line up at the runway. Sometimes air traffic control will perfectly line you up with the runway, like this one. So we just wait. Just wait. You should be getting a notification to turn. There it is. So turn right heading 325. And you want to report if the runway is in sight. So, I want to acknowledge everything. So, as you can see, we are lined up with the runway perfectly. Now, sometimes it doesn't, air traffic control will not perfectly line you up. So, how do I tell where the runway is? Well, what I do is I go to flight analysis, and, well, let's talk about this for a minute. So, this is the Madrid airport. So, you can see all these little blue lines right here, those are runways. And just so you can see it on the GPS earlier, or easier, you're going to see it right, like these bright green lines. And that's probably the easiest way to find the runway. But, you know, sometimes air traffic control may just line you up perfectly with the runway. So, we're going to disengage our autopilot now. And I did this flight a long time ago. Now, if you are approaching the runway or the airport, you're probably like 10,000 feet high. You want to select approach hold. But I did this one. I didn't know what that even did, so I didn't select it. But time to disengage all of our autopilot stuff. So we'll turn off the vertical hold speed, and it's already disengaged the autopilot. So here we go. So we're gonna contact the control tower of this airport here. So we are now in full control of the aircraft. So you may look higher and closer to the airport than you think, but you're not. Like, look, this is how close it looks like we are and how high it looks like we are. But we're actually not very high, and we're not very close either. So here's our window view. So you want to make sure you keep an eye on your altitude and your speed at all times. Because like you can just stall out of the sky while you're landing and not realize it. And like you want your descent rate to be like semi-similar to mine. So the 747-400 lands at about 150 knots, and that's about what I am right now. So you do not be afraid to increase or decrease your throttle when you have to. Just because pilots in real life don't do it that much, they're professionally trained, so they know when and not to do it. So we are on short final. We are going to be landing on the runway, most likely. Also, another thing I forgot to say is you can speed up your simulation right now. For me, I did binding R and plus. You can go up to times 164, I believe, but just don't. It's so... you can't do anything. And you lose your air traffic control literally instantly, so I would not do that if I were you. Like, look at that nice little shot. Look at that nice shot right there. So, let's continue. Look at this like little pencil and pen right here. Okay, here we go. Our speed is actually kind of low, so we're going to speed up a little bit. And our altitude is looking pretty good as well. We have our full. You also have to make sure your flaps are full, because if they're not, then it's going to be really hard to land, and you're going to have to go really low without any flaps. Unless you're doing like some weird challenge, then it's fine. So, as you can see, all the lights are red right now. That's not what you want. You want two white and two red. Now, I believe all red means you're coming in too quickly, which we definitely are. So we're going to slow down a little bit. Our altitude is completely fine right now. And that's a lag spike. There we go. So now I believe we're coming in too slowly. Which, yes, we 100% are. Actually, no, I think we're good. So, here we go. So we want to put the nose up a little bit. And now we're going to start to flare the aircraft. So what does flaring mean? When you're about probably like 50 feet, maybe a little bit less above the runway, you're going to want to completely idle your engines to as low as they can go. So that makes it so you can land at a slower speed and like take off accidentally again. So we're going to flare the aircraft, we're going to idle all the throttles. And now we're going to retard the nose. Do you guys know how whenever you play like Pilot Training Flight Simulator, your TCAS will say like retard, retard. That means you want to put your nose up, so you can land a lot smoother. So let's see how this butter machine does. I want my camera down. There we go. Okay, that was a pretty hard landing actually, but it's fine. So what you're gonna want to do next is you're gonna want to put your spoilers up. So how do I put the spoilers up? Well, if you have a joystick, well for me it's this button right here. But if you're just gonna do it through the cockpit, then your speed brakes are this lever right here. So I'll just show you what the spoilers are. They're these right here, and you're gonna want to hold your brakes down so your aircraft can actually stop. And we have now stopped. So, as you can see, we did not use much runway at all. We did not even use half the runway. We used like a third of the runway. So, let's look at that landing again. Instant replay. Here we go. We're on final approach. We'll look at it from the cockpit. So, here we go. So here's our speed, here's our altitude. Oh, whoops. Okay, I'm messing everything up. Okay, here we go. So, here we go. And oh, we landed already. Okay. So, this lever, this is the lever that will be pulled down right here. And look how quickly we're slowing down. So you can use reverse thrust if you want. I haven't figured out how to use that yet, but we have come to a halt. So that is where I'm going to call the video, guys. I know that was really basic and that was a lot longer than it should have been, but this is just the basics on how to get started. So this is how to take off, how to land, and like do all that sort of stuff. So and I showed you my joystick. Take a look at it. But that's it. But anyways, guys, that is all I've got time for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Anyways, I'm out, and peace out.